ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्
गुरुपरम्परा।
ॐ सहना
ॐ
भवतु
सहना भवतु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सहनौ
सह
भुनक्तु
वीर्यं
सह
करवावहै
वीर्यङ्करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ
ॐ
शान्ति
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 शान्तिः
शान्ति
शांति शांति।
Om Tat Sat, Om Namah
Om
Shivaya.
Tat Sat, Om
ॐ
Namah
तत्सत्
Shivaya.
ॐ नमः
तत्सत्
शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय।
So we are on verse number 4. We will chant it again. 10th chapter, verse number 4. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्री
श्रीभगवानुवाच
भगवानुवाच
Buddhir
Buddhir-jnanam
बुद्धिर्ज्ञानमसम्मोहः
सम्मोहः
Kshama Satyam Dama Shamaha
क्षमा
क्षमा
satyam
सत्यं दमः
dama
शमः
shamaha.
Dukham Dukkham Bhavo Bhavaha
सुखम
सुखं
दुःखम
दुःखं
दुःखो
भवो
भवो
भावः
भावः
Vayam Cha Bhayameva Cha.
भयं च
भयं च
भयमेव च।
भयम् एव च।
So I will just mute all of y'all and then we can carry on. So we had seen up to, I think we had already covered Satyam, right? So we have to see from Dhamma onwards. And Dhamma, as you know, from Tattva basically means sense control, control over the sense organs. So Shankara defines very clearly as Bahendriya Upashamaha. What is Upashamaha? What is the corresponding word in Tattva?
Nigraha.
Uparamethi. Uparamethi.
Parameti. Parameti and Upashamaha the same, withdrawal, restraint, etc. So Shankara says Dhamma is equal to Bahi Indriya Upashamaha, withdrawal or restraint of the external sense organs. So that basically is Pancha Jnanendriyani and Pancha Karmendriyani. Effectively, this withdrawal cannot be total because your interaction with the world requires that withdrawal. So you have to understand it as moderately using. And Krishna has already said this, where in the 6th chapter.
Sixth chapter.
Do you remember the verse?
Yes.
What is
Verse
the
तो नहीं है, the sixth chapter में था. आहार विहारस्य
Yuktar arasya viharasya yukta chetasya karmasu. So that is the connection you have to make here. Damaha means not complete withdrawal, but use of the sense organs, moderation. And Shamaha, of course, is mind control. And Shankara again defines it as Upashamaha of the Antakaranam, moderation of thoughts. In other words, whatever thoughts come, as you know, there are two types of thoughts. One is which is primary, the thoughts which come, involuntary thoughts, they come, that you cannot control, but you should not allow them to overpower you. You should not allow them to, you should not be nourishing unpleasant involuntary thoughts, unhealthy involuntary thoughts. So Antakarana is Upashamaha. Then the next one is Sukhaha and Dukhaha. Sukham, Dukkham. Sukham means pleasure. Shankara translates as Ahladaha, right? Ahladaha. So Sukham you can understand. Ahladaha means happiness. And it's from this word Ahladaha that you have the word Prahaladaha. So Prahaladaha derived from the word Ahladaha. Ahladaha is happiness. Prahaladaha is the one who gives happiness to others. So Sukham is happiness. And then Dukham Shankaracharya defines as Santapaha. Santapaha means that which tortures you, that which troubles you. Tapaha is troubling, right? So Santapaha, that which troubles you. And therefore Shankara's translation is Sukham is Ahaladaha, happiness. Dukham is that which is painful to you, Santapaha. And then Krishna says, Bhavaha, all these ideas, thoughts which are being referred to, bhavaha, birth, they are born. And abhavaha, abhavaha means the opposite. They are no longer there. They perish. Then bhayam cha abhayam eva cha, fear and fearlessness also. So all these thoughts, all these ideas, they are born and they die also. Okay, so this is the fourth verse. Remember that actually speaking, this fourth verse and the fifth verse, if you do the Anvaya, what will happen is it will be one long grammatical sentence. They have been divided into two verses, but basically both the verses together are put together as one long grammatical sentence. So you'll find that many commentators, they take them together, verse 4 and 5. We have taken it separately, but if somebody remembers the Moolam class which we had done, not based on Shankara Bhashyam, that time we had taken it together. So we'll read the fifth verse now. Please unmute yourself. Ahimsa samata tushtihi
ahimsa
अहिंसा
samata
समता
tushtihi
तुष्टिः
anam yasho yashaha
danam
दानं
yasho
यशो यशः
yashaha
bhavanti bhava bhutanam
bhavanti
भवन्ति भावा
bhavabutanam
भूतानां
ta eva prithagvidaha.
मत्त
matta
एव
eva prithagvidaha
पृथग्विधानाम्
Okay, so again meeting you. Ahimsa, non-violence, not troubling anybody else. So Shankara says praninam apidaha, which means not troubling any creature. That is not just not troubling human beings, not troubling any living beings at all, which is not just physically troubling. You should extend that ahimsa to vachya level, to the verbal level, and to the manasika level, to the mental level also. So mentally, verbally, and physically, not being troublesome to anybody is ahimsa. And samata. Samata is basically equanimity of mind. So samachittata, equanimity of mind, balance of mind, which is another way of saying is that I do not have any intense reactions to any situations which face me. And why do these intense reactions come? Because sometimes I don't like a situation, sometimes I seriously, love a situation. And therefore, Madhusudana Saraswati in Gurartha Deepika, he gives a different definition. He says Samata is equal to reduction of Ragadvesha. If you compare the two definitions, they are only different words, right? Because your violent or non-violent reactions to any situation are based on what? On your Ragadvesha only. So in Gurartha Deepika, a different definition is given, but essentially it is the same. So we should remember both, that equanimity of mind, balance of mind is what is meant by samatha, but that balance of mind comes because of a reduction in your ragadvesha. If you have strong ragadvesha, then this equanimity of mind cannot come. The next one is tushtihi. Tushti means contentment, right? So contentment, what? It is basically the thought that whatever I have, whatever has been gained by me is sufficient for me, right? That's called santosha. And therefore Shankara describes it as labheshu paryapta buddhi. Labheshu means whatever I have got. Paryapta buddhi, the thought that this is adequate for me. That is called santosha. Another name is tushti. So each word is defined very beautifully by Shankaracharya over here. And if you remember these definitions, you will find that your understanding is much, much better than simply the word tushti is equal to contentment. And what is contentment? The thought that whatever I have had, whatever I have gained is enough. So that is tushti, contentment. The next one is tapaha. Tapaha is austerity, and this is basically austerity which causes bodily discomfort. So Shankara says Sharira Pidanam, voluntarily causing discomfort to the body for what? For testing out your FIR, figuring out how much discomfort is there which you can endure without your mind being disturbed too much. And therefore he says Indriya Sanyam Purvakam. Sanyam Purvakam means with control over what? Over the Indriyas, which basically means I don't complain. I don't complain, and my body language should be generally comfortable. Anybody looking at me when I am doing tapaha should not feel that I am being tortured, right? Everything is like supposing you are doing, let us say, upvasa, right? When upvasa you're doing, do you complain? Oh, terrible, terrible, terrible. Or do you take it as, okay, this is something which I am doing to ensure that my mind doesn't react too much, to ensure that I have control of the mind and not the other way around. So for me, it's a welcome activity. So that frame of mind is tapaha, indriya sanyam purvakam sharira pidanam, causing discomfort to the body, sharira pidanam, but ensuring that you have control over the indriyas and the mind. So danam, the next one. Danam is charity. And Shankara says yatha shakti. So he says you should ensure that you give according to your capacity. Why? Because a person who gives beyond his capacity will soon be in a position where he has to receive dana. And therefore, you should avoid that. A very practical approach. Right? Don't give so much that you become, charity becomes necessary for you to live. So, danam yatha shakti samvibhaga. Samvibhaga means sharing your wealth, sharing your time, whatever, sharing your resources, basically. The next one is yashaha. Yashaha is fame, and we have to understand this as fame which is dharmika, fame born out of a religious life, of a dharmika life, of an ethical life. So that is yashaha. And yasha, and the next one is ayashaha. Ayashaha is also fame, but that fame which is born out of a adharmic life, right? So yashaha is dharma nimitta kirtihi, the kirtihi, that fame born out of a life of religion, religious life. Ayashaha is adharma nimitta akirtihi, that ill fame born out of a adharmika life. Both are fame only. Fame is being well known, and you can be well known for your spiritual and religious life. You can be also be well known for your most notorious life. So both these are there. Why is all this being mentioned? So Krishna says, Prithak vida bhavaha bhutanam. He says all these different products, different thoughts of bhutanam, of living beings. So bhavaha here is the thoughts of the products. What are they? Everything which has been mentioned so far, as well as in verse number 4, all these bhavanti matta evaha. They are born from me alone. So he's saying that all good thoughts, all bad thoughts, all strengths, all weaknesses, all happiness, all sorrow are born from me, Ishvara, alone. How will you interpret that statement? This measure of all these statements you take, he says everything which is sorrow, everything which is happiness, everything which is good, everything which is bad in your life, everything is born from me alone. What is the interpretation of that statement?
Acharya ji, does it refer to The karma phalam of each.
One from me alone means you're right, but you have to readjust your statement. One from me alone means I, Ishvara, am the karma phala data. I give you happiness, I give you sorrow, I give you health, everything I give you. Right? At a slightly higher level, you can take it as nothing is separate from me, from Ishvara. Now the question is, this karma phala data is distributing things to different people. How does it do it? In accordance with their karma alone, right? So it's not that it is arbitrary. So when he says all this, you have to understand that he's saying that I give some people happiness, I give some people sorrow, I give some people health, I give some people ill health. But it's not that I'm giving it on my whims and fancies. I'm giving it in accordance with their own karma. Okay. Now, having said this, you should remember that all these things, all these various emotions and various aspects of life which you're talking about, everything in this world, in fact, the entire universe, the entire Jagat, has two causes. Or Karanam is always, the Karanam is always dual in nature, has two Karanams. One is Samanya Karanam, one is Vishesha Karanam. We saw this in Tattva Bodha also, right? The Jiva also has Samanya Karanam. Jiva also has Vishesha Karanam. Now, what is Samanya Karanam? Samanya Karanam is Ishvara. And here in this verse, we take it that Vishesha Karanam is what? Is karma.
Karma.
And therefore, this karma, therefore, is a Vishesha Karanam produced by the Jiva, not by Ishvara, right? And if you analyze the statement, two very important ideas are there. The Samanya Karanam, which is Bhagavan, Ishvara, cannot by himself produce the universe. He is powerless. Ishvara is powerless to produce the universe unless what is there?
Jiva. Maya.
Maya.
Maya. Jiva.
Okay,
Maya.
but
Karma.
explain that.
Karma.
Karma. Unless karma is there. Bhagavan Samanya Karanam cannot produce the universe unless the support of the Jiva by way of karma is there. And therefore, Bhagavan is the Samanya Karanam and Jiva's karma is the Vishesha Karanam for the production of the universe. It's a joint venture. Ishvara cannot create the universe without the Jiva. Right? Now, what about the Jiva? Who creates Jiva? If you say that Ishvara, if you apply the same logic, see, for this world, we have said that Ishvara is Samanya Karma. And we have said that for this world, Jiva's karma is the Vishesha Karma. Right? So Ishvara is Samanya Karanam and Jiva's karma is Vishesha Karanam. Can you apply this logic for creation of Jiva? If you say Ishvara is Samanya Karanam for Jiva's creation, can you say that Jiva is the Vishesha Karanam for his creation?
Yes. Because he takes birth according to his own karma.
Have
It is
you,
his karma which is the
anybody
Vishesha
who has
karma.
ever used what you call Excel, where you put the same variable on both sides of the equation, what does it say?
0.
No, it says cyclical error. Right? A cyclic error is an error in which you have put two variables on both sides. It's not possible. It's a circle. When you go to the right hand side, it points to the left hand side. When you put to the left hand side, it points to the right hand side. This is what you are doing here. The moment you say Jiva's karma is the Vishesha Karanam for production of Jiva, it is a cyclical error. Because you cannot, it's logical defect. Can you see the logical defect? Without the jiva's karma, jiva cannot be produced. But for production of jiva, jiva's karma is necessary. Do you see the error? You are saying that jiva needs jiva's karma for being produced. At the same time, where is the jiva's karma going to come from if jiva is not there?
Beginningless, that's why it is possible. Actually, it's cycle.
Come again?
This is beginningless.
Yes.
That's
What?
the reason.
No, the beginningless thing is a different matter. The beginningless thing is a what do you call, derivation from this particular argument. What is this argument? This argument is that if Ishvara is Samanya Karanam, we have accepted. If you are going to say that there is a Vishesha Karanam, which is Jiva's karma, then you are saying that Jiva requires his karma to be produced. And there is an error there because Jiva's karma cannot be there unless Jiva is produced. So that thing where both sides you are saying Jiva is necessary, right? That is called the cyclical error, which is called Atma Ashraya Dosha. Right? Therefore, Vishesha Karanam cannot be Jiva. You realize?
Acharya,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel that Jiva is the catalyst in this experiment of the universe.
No. What we are
Without
saying here
him,
is
no.
the logical derivation of this, where you see the statements. Statement is number one is that Jiva's karma is required for Jiva's production. Number two is unless Jiva is there, Jiva's karma is not there. And yet, number three, Jiva is still there. Number one and two lead to this cyclical error. Atma Ashraya Dosha. Atma Ashraya means it is resident in itself, which is a cycle, right? Something which you are saying that this is there and this is there, but this cannot be there unless this is there. So there is cyclical error. And if the first two statements are wrong, then the third statement has to have a different interpretation. Third statement is Jiva is very much there. What is the interpretation? You have forgotten the very basics of Vedanta.
It's both.
Jiva can never be created. Have you forgotten? Jiva is anadi. That is the only way in which you can resolve this logic. So Jiva is anadi because of this argument that you cannot create the Jiva without the Jiva's involvement. Do you see? Ishvara is powerless to create the Jiva unless Jiva's karma is there. But Jiva's karma cannot be there unless Jiva is there. And therefore Ishvara cannot possibly create Jiva. And therefore Jiva is anadi. I hope you got the logic. It's a very important idea, which we will see when we go to Brahma Sutra also. But so the idea is that Jiva is never created because Jiva is anadi.
But then Jiva is created. No? When you
Okay.
say
You're wrong. That is why you say it's cyclical. Right? It's a circle. Jiva is never created.
So, Om Acharya, this ultimately boils down to that because Jiva is also an Adi and Ishvara, the whole cycle goes on. So it is ultimately mithya. We come down to that only statement
Yes,
finally.
that is different. You are not discussing Satyam and Mithya right now. You are discussing the creation. In the creation, you cannot say that Jiva has been created. You should be very, very clear about this idea. Because if Jiva was created, then the whole, what they call Jivatma, Brahmatma, Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam is gone. Right? What is the equation? Jivatma is equal to Paramatma. When you break it up, what does it mean? Consciousness plus individual 3 bodies is equal to consciousness plus universal 3 bodies. Right? This is basic Tattva Bodha. Jiva is what? 3 bodies plus consciousness. Ishvara is what? 3 universal bodies plus consciousness. So when you say Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam is there. You put it in equation form. It is Jivatma is equal to Paramatma. You break up the 2 sides. It is consciousness plus individual 3 bodies is equal to consciousness plus universal 3 bodies, which is an equation which is not possible at all. The only way to resolve that equation is what? You have to drop the 3 bodies from both the sides, and therefore you get consciousness equal to consciousness. Are we clear?
Yes, Acharya.
So please do some lot of mananam on this because it's a very important idea. Okay, now let us go to verse number 6. Maharshya sapta purve
Maharshayastapurve
varo manavastatha
Chatvaro manastvatha
madbhava manasa jataha
Madhava
yesham loka imah prajaha.
Yesham
So, Sapta Maharshaha, the 7 great Maharishis, and Purve, so you break up that Sapta Purve into 2 pieces. Sapta is joined to Maharshaha, so it becomes Sapta Maharshaha, the 7 Maharishis, and Purve Chatvaraha. Chatvara means what?
4.
4. Purve Chatvara means what?
Does it
Ancient
refer
4.
to the
The earlier 4. Okay. So now it's a very idea which is being presented that there were the 7 great Maharishis, and before that there were 4 great Maharishis, Purva Chatvaro, making 11 Maharishis in full. Okay. And then he says Manavas Tatha. So that you have to break up into Manavaha plus Tatha. Tatha Manavaha. Manavaha means the Manus. Right? We'll discuss what this is. Tatha Manavaha. So there are 7 great sages. Before that, there were 4 Maharishis, great Maharishis. And also you have to consider the 14 Manus. Manus are 14, not mentioned here, but Puranas and all you will find that there are 14 Manus. Madbhavaha. All these 11 plus 14, 25 of them. Madbhavaha, they have my own nature, Ishvara's own nature. And Yesham Prajaha, whose children, Ima Lokehe, are there in this world. Okay, that's one sentence. That these 14 people, they possess my nature, and the children are there in this world. Yesham Prajaha, Ima Lokehe, they are there in this world, which is all of us, right? All of us are the children of these 14 Manus. And Manasaha Jataha. So these 14 Manus, these earlier 4 Maharishis and the 7 Maharishis, Manasa Jataha, they are all born from my mind alone. Okay. So, do you see a shift in the earlier two verses and this verse? What is the shift?
Creation. Earlier, everything is born from me, and now he's saying that only
Please
14 plus.
speak slowly. We can't hear you.
Earlier, it was said everything is born out of me. Now it's being said 14 plus 11 only born out of me, and from them others are born.
No. Anybody? What is the shift?
And Anadi too.
Sorry?
And that too, like nothing. I mean, we discussed also that Jiva cannot be created. So here, that
No, you are
point
not
is
reading the verses. See the early verse. Buddhir jnanama shama satyam dama shamaha sukham dukkham bhayam abhayam. Ahimsa samata tushtihi tapodanam yasho yashaha.
Earlier he talked about the thoughts, now people.
Exactly. Previous slokas describe the internal world. Now he is describing the creation of the external world. You have to be very alert when the verses are being chanted, you know. So now the external world is being described. So, and here is the interesting part. Purve Chatvaraha. Brahmaji first created 4 rishis, right? And then, if he created these 4 rishis, then the question is, why did he have to create 7 more? Anybody knows? Because if you were saying that I created 4 people first, 4 rishis first out of my mind, what was the purpose of the creation?
For continuing the, for creation of progeny.
Yeah, in other words, for creation of the whole set of jivas, right? Now, 4 rishis were not sufficient, or what? For creation of jivas. Why were 7 more necessary?
Because they were not interested, in creation, further creating.
How do you know? Your statement is correct. How do you know?
I've heard that, Acharya.
So Krishna doesn't mention here, but if you read the Puranas, the mention of 4 rishis is there. And they are Sanaka, Sananandana, Sanatanaha, Sanat Kumaraha. Right? These 4 were created, and Brahmaji said that from you, your progeny has to be born. All the jivas have to be born. But what happened? These 4 rishis were not interested in material things in life, so they took sannyas. Okay. So Sanaka, Sananandana, Sanatanaha, Sanatkumaraha, which are the Purve Chatvaraha. The previous 4 rishis, they took sannyasaha. And because they became sannyasis, obviously they didn't have children. And therefore, Sapta Maharshaya, Sapta rishis were created. So even Brahmaji's children didn't, obey him. So it's all right if our kids don't obey us, right? That's showing the idea that children are not going to do what you want. So don't, even Brahmaji's children didn't do. Aapka kya haal hai? So Sapta Maharishya, then he created 7 more rishis. And you'll find that there are many Puranas, but different names are given. So you have in one, you have Atri, Bhrigu, Kutsaha, Vasishtaha, Gautamaha, Kashyapaha, Angirasaha, etc. Somewhere else you'll have Bhrigu, Marichi, Atri, Pulastaya, Pulaha, Kratu. Anyway, so different Puranas give different names of the 7 rishis. It's not very important. What is important is Manasa Jataha, born from his mind alone. That is why they are called Manasa Putraha, born from the mind. Sankalpa Matrena, purely from the power of the mind. Now, what is the difference between these Sapta Rishis and 4 Rishis? The 4 Rishis, of course, took sannyasa. The Sapta Rishis produced the entire jivas. Now, the point is, why are they still important? Because both the sets of rishis, the 4 and the 7, they also taught jnanam, right? And that is how you have 2 paramparas, sannyasi parampara and grihastha parampara. If you see a dhyana slokas, there is a dhyana sloka which talks only about sannyasi parampara. There is a dhyana sloka which talks about grihastha parampara. So Sanakadi, etc., that 4, they represent the sannyasi parampara. The Saptarishis, they represent the Grihastha Parampara. Right? So this you must remember. How did 2 paramparas come into being? And therefore you have one set of parampara, which is Sannyasi Parampara. One set of parampara led by, now of course we take it as Krishna's parampara, which is the Grihastha Parampara. Okay, the tradition. There are 2 traditions over here. Then Tatha Manavaha, he says, also the 14 Manus who preside over creation. So, in one, what do you call, set of creation. You have the Manus who, and because the Manus preside, that is why we are called Manusyaha, born from the Manus. Curiously enough, the word men in English also can be related to Manu. Okay. And the length of a Manu's rule is supposed to be 71 Chatur Yugas. How many years is Chatur Yuga? Do you remember? What, do you at least remember the chapter in which we saw this? Which chapter was it? Yugas, Chatur Yugas. Okay, let's have some basic question. What is a Chatur Yuga?
Kali, Satyuga, Dwapar.
No, when you're answering, please give the full answer.
It is daytime of Brahmaji.
It is data of Brahmaji, but consisting of what all yugas?
Since it's a Satyug, Dwapar, Treta,
Dwapar.
and Kalyug.
Correct. What is the relationship between these three yugas?
They come, they are divisions in the cycle from point A back to point A. That is
No,
the
if
26,000 so many years.
What
The
is the
divisions.
length of the Kali Yuga? Supposed to be.
1, then Dwapar is 2,
2.
No, that is a
then
ratio. What
Treta.
is the length?
Yeah.
Number of years.
Okay.
4,000 something years.
So one Kali Yuga is supposed to be 4,32,000 years.
32,000.
Yeah,
Right.
4 lakhs.
So
30.
Kali Yuga
Yeah.
is 1, Dwapara is 2. Obviously, Dwapara means double. So Dwapara is 2,
Yeah.
Treta is 3, and Satya Yuga is 4. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. And these 4 yugas together are 4 yugas, Chatur Yuga, right? 4 yugas together are Chatur Yugas. Therefore, 4 yugas together is 4,32,000 into 10, which is 43,20,000 years. I mean, don't take all these numbers seriously, okay? If you compare that with what science says, we'll probably get nowhere. Now, this one Chatur Yuga is 43,20,000 years, and therefore 71 Chatur Yugas, which is supposed to be the rule of one Manu, it's got a particular name. That rule of one Manu. What is that? Any idea?
Manvantara?
Manvantara. Manvantara is equal to 71 Chatur Yugas, which is the rule of one Manu. Okay. So that is 43,20,000 into 71, which is some 30 crore something. So we leave all that numbers away. And then what is the relation between one Manvantara and Brahmaji's one day? We said there are 14 Manus in one creation. Okay. So all these 14 Manvantaras is equal to one Kalpa, which is one day of Brahma. Now if somebody, one of you is smart, he will go back to the, what do you call, 8th chapter, where we talked about the same Kalpa in different terms. So if somebody has the inclination, he can go back and see what we did there and what we are saying now. Is there a difference between the number of years in one Kalpa there? One Kalpa means one day of Brahmaji. Okay. In one Kalpa there in this chapter, and one Kalpa there in that chapter. Is there a difference? You find out, put it in the group. If there is a difference, try to explain why. Okay, that is your Mananam question for today. Okay. Now, so there are 14 Manvantaras, and we are currently, Shastra says, in the 7th Manvantara, and that is called by presided over by Manu called Vaivasvatha. Vaivasvatha is the current Manu, and in this Manvantara, how many Yuga, Chatur Yugas did you say we have? 71. Where are we? We are in the 28th Chatur Yuga. All this is, there is no way of fixing this time excepting by reference to the scripts, to the Puranas. Okay. So we are supposed to be in the 28th Chatur Yuga, which means there are 43 Chatur Yugas more for the Kali Yuga to end. Okay. Thereafter, the 8th Manu will come, and then 14 Like that, one by one, 14 Manus will come and go. And when that whole thing is over, then Brahmaji's day gets over. Okay, so, right. Then what does he say? He says, Madbhavaha. Each one of these people, these rishis, maharishis, manus, they have got the same nature of mind, which is what? Satchit Ananda Swarupaha. So, Yesham Loke Imaha Prajaha. So, Yesham is Manunam Maharshinam. That is the, from these, Yesham means from these. So, from these means what? From these Saptama Rishis and from these 14 Manus, Srishtihi means Lokehe. Lokehe means 14 worlds. And Ima Prajaha, these people. What are these people? These are the moving and non-moving jivas. Thavara Jangamam. Moving and non-moving jivas, they are born. Prajaha means, the word Prajaha means jivas. So we are not talking about the inert universe. Jada Prapancha is not being referred. So ultimately, he's saying that all of us who are here are sons and daughters of the rishis only. Right? Therefore, in all these verses, what is ultimately being said? I am the cause of the internal world in your mind. I am the cause of the external world, which is outside your mind. Any questions?
Acharya?
Yeah.
I know this is Purana, so might not be very logical. If it's saying that all the progeny came from these 7 Maharishis who came from the mind of Brahmaji, what about the women who would have been required for the rest of the progeny creation?
We will be doing another Upanishad where you will see how that happens. Okay. So progeny didn't necessarily require what you call, the 7 Manus would have created men and women. So that's, if you have to say, like the Lord created Adam and Eve. Similarly, the 7 Manus would have, that's the only logical explanation, right? Because you can't say that everything came from the mind. Only up to the Manus, it is from the Lord's mind. And then probably one more mental creation will be there for the women. And then the rest of creation comes. Okay.
So,
You will find that
is it
another Upanishad will have a more detailed explanation of this. So I'll check it out. I'll leave it at that for the time being. Yes, please go on.
so is it also plant and animals also are born from this only?
Yes, yes. All jivas. All jivas. Okay. Now, and one more thing. I mean, very important thing is that in scriptures, I will again and again ask you, what is the tatparya? What is the essential part of a scripture?
Aham Brahmasmi.
Right? Everything else is
Creation
not
is not.
Creation is not tatparyam. And therefore, you will find that various Upanishads are not having harmony in their interpretations. Right? Tattvabodha talks about, for example, Tattvabodha talks about 5 elements. Right? Chandogya Upanishad talks about 3 elements. So, this consistency will not be there. You have to accept that consistency will not be there because it is anatma, which is not the very focus of the Upanishad. Why? Ultimately, Upanishad says anatma is not there. What is not there need not be discussed at great length. Okay, let us look at verse number 7. The last verse for today, I think. Etam vibhutim yogam cha
Etam
vibhutim yogam cha
mama yo vetti tatvataha
Mama
Mamayo
Vetti
Tattva
so vikampena yogena
Vikambena
Yogena
yujyate natra samshayah.
Yujyate natra samshayah.
Okay. So, saha yaha tatvatah veti. So saha, yaha. Where is the saha? Second line. So vikampena saha. Where is the yaha? Your first line. Yo veti. So saha, yaha, tatvatah veti. One, that person, saha, who really knows, tatvatah veti. What does he know? Mama etam vibhuti. This glory of mine and yogam. Mama etam yogam. This power of mine. So vibhuti means glory. Yogam here means power. So the person who really knows my glory and my power, yujjate avikampena yogena. Avikampena means vikampaha is wavering or shaking. Avikampaha is unshakable, very stable. Yujjate avikampena yogena. He is endowed, has got unshakable knowledge. Yoga here can be taken as knowledge, is endowed with unshakable yoga. Na atra samsayaha. There is no doubt about this. Okay, so etam. Critical word is etam. This. Because he says na atra samsayaha. There is no doubt about this. What is this?
All that has been told in the
Creation.
All
previous.
that has been told so far. Okay. Yatho uktam. What has been told so far. And what is that? The expansion. So vibhutim. Vibhutim is the glory here. And Shankara says there is a vistaram. Vistaram means the expansion, the throwing out of the universe. Right? And yogaha means the direct meaning of yoga is what? To unite. But Shankara says yoga here has to be taken as the power to make things happen. What is that? Remember, yoga is, Shankara gives the word, I mean, for those who know comfortable Hindi, Shankara gives the word yoga as equal to ghatanam, ghatna. What is a ghatna?
An incident
An
or
incident. So I'll put it differently. Something which happens. Right? Something which has happened is a ghatna. And therefore, yogam, Shankara says, has to be derived from that meaning, which means the power to make something happen. What is the English word for that?
Creation.
creation, driver,
Power to make something happen.
power.
Catalyst.
Capacity, potential.
Manifestation.
Okay, let me put it this way. The power to make everything happen.
Manifestation.
That's not power. Manifestation is happening. What is the power called?
Ichha Shakti.
Shakti.
Omnipotence.
Oh.
The total power. Okay. Aishwaryam.
Bhagavan.
Overlordship, Bhagavan. So that is, yogam, he says, means omnipotence. Now the thing is that to be omnipotent, what sort of knowledge should you have?
Unshakable.
Omniscient.
If you omniscient, exactly. To be omnipotent, you must have omniscience. And therefore, Shankara says yogam has to be taken as omniscience plus omnipotence. It's a beautiful explanation. Okay. Of course, it is a bit long-winded and difficult. In fact, difficult, long-winded explanation is got a very nice name in Sanskrit. Klishta Kalpana. Very difficult to understand. And therefore, we can look at it another way also. The same meaning you can arrive from another way. We have said, Krishna has said, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrataha. 7th chapter. Okay. You take the word Maya. What does Maya do? What is
Covers up the knowledge.
It creates Avarna Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti.
Vikshepa Shakti.
What is the creation of Maya called?
Samsara.
Everything. Maya creates everything.
Samashti.
Whatever you see is Maya. Srishti is Maya only. Therefore, Maya creates everything. And from this angle also, if Maya creates everything, what is the Shakti called? Omnipotence. For omnipotence, what do you need? Omniscience. Whichever way you look at it, the meaning of yogam is omnipotence backed up by omniscience, which means that Ishvara has the potential to manufacture the world or manifest the world, and that Shakti is called yoga. Okay. So here remember the difference between the Shakti, that yoga and vibhuti has to be understood. There are two words here used, yoga and vibhuti. So the Shakti, the potential is called yoga. When the potential manifests, that is called vibhuti. You follow the difference between yoga and vibhuti? Shakti is potential. When the Shakti manifests as the world, it is called vibhuti. Right? Unmanifest power is called yoga. The manifested power, the visible power, is called vibhuti. Okay. And therefore Krishna says, Vibhutim mama yogam cha. I have got both the power, which is avyaktaha, and I have got the glory also, which is vyaktaha, which is the vibhuti. Both are basically Maya only. And both types of Maya, avyakta Maya and vyakta Maya, they belong mama. They belong to me alone. And neha tattvata vetihi, the person who knows this, that yoga is the power and the manifested power is the vibhuti, he has understood, right? Remember one thing, that yoga is, the power is not vyaktam, it's not visible, but the vibhuti is perceptible. The vibhuti is pratyaksham. And therefore, yoga cannot be said to be pratyaksham. Yoga is understood through anumanam, through inference. What is the pratyaksham on which the yoga is inferred? The vibhuti, the universe is pratyaksham, perceived. And because we can see the universe, because we can interact with the universe, because we are there in the universe, therefore we do anumanam, we do inference that Shakti is also there. So yoga is anumanam, known through anumanam. Vibhuti is known through pratyaksham. So Brahman is there, Maya is there, the omnipotence backed up by the omniscience is there, and creation is also there. These are the factors which are there, and if you analyze them, you will see that three belong to Vyavaharika Satyam and one belongs to Paramarthika Satyam. We should know which belongs to which Satyam. Nirguna Brahman alone belongs to Paramarthika Satyam. Maya is Vyavaharika Satyam. If you have understood this comprehensively, Tattvataha, completely, comprehensively, na atra samshaya, then there is no doubt what saha avikampena yogena yujyate, that this person will come to jnanam of this. There is no doubt at all. Okay. So one who has understood is, remember, what sort of a bhakta is he? One who understood that there is a power which is non-manifest and the world is a manifest form of Ishvara. Among the bhaktas, is he Ekarup Bhakta or is he Anekarup Bhakta?
Ekarupa. Anekarupa.
Anekaru.
Why Anekarupa?
Because he's talking of creation, which means
Talking of
everything.
creation. And remember, Anekarupa Bhakta is nothing else but Vishwarup Bhakta. Therefore, he is saying here, Krishna is saying here that this sadhaka, this bhakta who has understood that the whole universe is nothing but Vishwarupa. that bhakta will soon, natra samshaya, he will soon become a Advaita Jnani. How will this bhakta become Advaita Jnani? This is said in the next verse, which we will see in the next class. Any questions, please? It's not a very difficult chapter because there's not too much of jnanam. It's more of upasana, tools for upasana. Anyway, with this we'll stop for today. Thank you for your patience. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your questions. Om Om.
Namah Shivaya.
Thank you.
Thank you.